October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. One of the most powerful tools you can use when it comes to breast cancer prevention is looking at micronutrients and opening your detoxification pathways. We can almost prevent tumors in the body by consuming the appropriate micronutrients and getting rid of cellular damage by daily detoxification. You may have heard of the term estrogen dominance, and it's just one common hormone imbalance that people experience today. It's a common cause of PMS, fibroids, infertility, symptoms of menopause, and things like that we really just assume are a part of everyday life. We also see problems with estrogen dominance in men, though, and this leads to things like prostate cancer, weight gain, and low libido. So thousands are struggling with this today and may not even know it. There are many symptoms associated with estrogen dominance, but breast cancer is one of those. And it's often caused by the body's inability to detoxify estrogen appropriately. Estrogen is an essential hormone to the body, of course, but it's important, for health, skin, bones, reproduction, and even helps us psychologically. But when the body has an excess amounts of it, it's actually converted into dangerous metabolites that can cause DNA damage and drive specific cancers in the body. So estrogen dominance happens today because we're exposed to xenoestrogens, and these are just chemical estrogens in our environment, and they really disrupt our endocrine system. So how are we even exposed to these estrogens? Well, one way is through cosmetics and personal care products. Those are a big source. Things like shampoo, conditioner, makeup, body lotions, perfumes, those all have endocrine disruptors, or a lot of them do. So this is not only true for estrogens, though, it's also true for progesterone. You know, those lip plumpers and those wrinkle reducers that we typically wear on our skin to make us look more beautiful? Well, those have endocrine disruptors. So I use an app called Think Dirty, and that allows you to scan your personal care products to find out which ones have those endocrine disruptors in them so you can avoid those. Another way we're exposed is through household cleaning products, things like air fresheners, candles, and fragrances that we use in our home. I use another app called EWG, Living Healthy app, and that helps you kind of switch your cleaning products to a little bit more non-toxic versions. Another big source is plastics. So we're on this big movement to remove plastics from our home because of this BPA. Well, it's not necessarily BPA that's the problem, because it's not the only plastic hardener out there. So be careful by just purchasing these BPA-free products, because that doesn't necessarily mean they're safe. Many of these products have actually been replaced with other plastic hardeners, such as BPS, which is even more toxic than BPA. So work toward removing plastics from your home and use glass drinking bottles and Pyrex containers, especially when you're using those to heat up foods and beverages. Xenoestrogens can also be found in our food. And the best way to avoid these endocrine disruptors is to eat organic and eat things that are free from pesticides and herbicides. So you can purchase grass-fed or pasture-raised meat, and those that are not fed hormones or antibiotics. Clean, organic, and local foods actually are richer in vitamins and minerals as well, and these help prevent cancer and disease. Doing small things every day can help you limit exposure to these hormone disruptors and make a huge difference in prevention of cancer and disease. So you want to make sure that you're working with your body so that you have the key micronutrients on board. You want to think about things like magnesium, B6, B3, vitamin A, and cysteine. Those are all key nutrients for hormonal health. Lacking proper nutrition actually sets the stage for more serious illness like cancer to invade the body. One of the tests that I like to run on a regular basis is called a micronutrient panel. And this gives me guidance as to whether or not I need to take steps to correct an imbalance in the body. Another great way for determining estrogen excess is by using a Dutch hormone test. And this test actually gives you insight into whether or not a person is estrogen dominant, or if a person is preferring a specific detox pathway that opens them up for DNA damage or a greater potential for cancer. These are great tests that allow us to take a peek inside the body to make corrections before the disease process even begins, and to help us correct those if they've already started. Having the right building blocks in place is a key component. Every person is unique inside and out. And there are many different things that affect us and our own personal needs, including age, lifestyle, metabolism, prescription use, illness, and whether or not a person is even absorbing nutrients. But cleaning up the body and repairing cellular damage is a great way to prevent hormonal imbalance. And it can actually prevent things like breast cancer, as we're talking about today, and other chronic diseases. But breast cancer is so much more than just a mammogram. Speaking of mammograms, thermography is actually a safer, more painless, and more accurate alternative. Thermal imaging is a diagnostic technique that allows for early detection. And while it's an important part, the key is to actually reduce these toxins from our environment before they contribute to things like breast cancer and other diseases. We talked about some of the ways you can reduce your exposure to cancer, and these are great tools to help you reduce the risk factors so that you can actually decrease your chances of ever getting cancer. But the truth is cancer just doesn't happen overnight. And we talked about some of those risk factors, things like heavy or painful periods, fibroids, weight gain, infertility. But other things to consider are ovarian cysts, adult acne, chronic fatigue, and even autoimmune conditions. So if you're suffering from any of these things, or if you have a history of breast cancer in your family or a diet high in processed foods, then something like the Dutch test could really be beneficial when it comes to prevention. The awesome thing is even if you have a genetic predisposition, you don't have to be another statistic. You have a choice to take your health into your own hands. If you need help getting access to the right resources so that you can live in optimal health, then take a moment. All you have to do is go to my website, schedule your optimal health and wellness discovery session with me today. This is Chelsea Ward, knowing we can be happy, healthy, and whole.